Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to spend time with you. I wish I could spend more time, and I will be. I keep saying that. But I'm going to do some question and answers, I think, and keep it short for you. And then we're going to do some iris analysis because I'm not sure if they took down the eyes or not. I don't know. So we're working on getting some of that restored, I think. I don't know. But I am so proud of you guys. Someone emailed this. This was cute. Your B's and your T's, your helper cells, NK cells, natural killer cells. You know, you guys I'm so proud of you. You guys are just incredible. And you're learning, and it's fun. And you want to make it fun. It's fun to learn about the body you're using for so many years, why it hurts, and how you can get it better. Do never live and never let anybody tell you there's nothing that you could ever do for yourself. Those are people locked in that type of consciousness. That's not how God's world works. You have duality here. Where there is degeneration, there is regeneration. So no matter how hard, you have to work for it. And some of you are having to work hard, whether that's karma, whether that's whatever. You want to work it out. And now's a good time to do this. At the same time you're working it out, so many of you are learning that the mind is a good tool, but a lousy master. And so by using your consciousness, by being you, by living in that moment, by becoming the watcher, you now guys are expanding into lofty heights. The spirituality of everyone I'm meeting, you can tell we were all meant to come together at this time, at this location in creation. Because it's just, working with all of you is just such a great pleasure. And the fact that you're healing each other. Dave, you're doing such a good job. Didn't know Dimitri's doing his thing. I know you're working with Dave, and you're doing a great job. Dave's got this quad neurologically starting to reconnect. Poor thing. We talked about her on our last video about detox in the lungs. I'm telling you, there are some cases that are so difficult, and it is particularly in the quadriplegics where there's no ability to cough up all this sputum that wants to come out. And so you have to rent suction machines sometimes and work through that. So it's tough. There are some cases that make a man out of you or a woman out of you. Most cases are not that way. But there are just some cases the poor souls have got themselves, pretty far. But, we can call it unconsciousness, I suppose. We're all unaware at some level or another. Some level we're just not aware of the all in that moment. And that's true with everyone, and all masters the same way. It's impossible to have the infinite crammed in the finite. And you're seeing the only way it can be done. You're the only way it can be done. The plants are the only way it can be done. This desk, all atoms are the only way it can be done, is to cram that infinite into the finite. And let me tell you, it's just, at this level, there's not a lot of the infinite in the finite, as far as I'm concerned. I want to thank all the Facebook people for sending me your love and everything. When Jermaine was over here, one question, please ask him if he's making any trips up towards Canada. And this is Marina. Hi, sweetheart. Well, you know what? I'll be in northern Indiana in August. I've got to go up to Shipshewana. A lot of Amish communities there, of course, and I have a lot of good Amish friends. And so I go up there and teach and lecture and stuff every couple of years, and I'll be up there in August, toward the end of August. And what are my thoughts on beets? Seriously, yeah. Well, I like I said, I went on a 3-day beet juice fast. Someone recommended it years ago, and I would rethink that now. But having a high amount of beet juice in your parsley and dandelion is going to be a butt kicker for the kidneys and the bladder and the adrenal glands. That's really a specific for that. However, the beets are also a specific for the liver. So you got some real strong cleansing power with these kind of foods. Some foods are, we don't give a lot of credence to foods, but you can see how powerful the fruit are over the vegetables. A good organic ripe food, fruit, whatever it is. Very powerful expression of God there at that level. And so, we sometimes don't give proper credence to the foods. Of course, we know the problem is like Monsanto's and those corporations that think that somehow genetically modifying things is the answer. That's that intellectual mind that just won't turn off, and it ceases to see the simplicity. And then the complex sometimes can destroy life. And that's the problem. You can go beyond what's good and then go the other way. And the mind loves both because the mind is steeped in duality. And so you have to be cautionary with that. And I don't know, most of us have a hard time procuring food. In the States, I talk to Canada all the time. I know a lot of other countries there. You guys probably have a hard time procuring good food. On the other hand, some of you are right in the good food. So do whatever you can, do the very best you can, and it's really between you and your body and what genetics are driving these weaknesses and what's happened to the fluids, particularly obviously the lymphatic fluids of the human body. Once you get that and the simplicity of that, then you can drive in intellectually. And that's what I'm going to see out of you guys. I would just highly recommend that you keep the simplicity while enjoying some intellectualism, if you will. But always keep that simplicity. Don't let yourself lose yourself in thought again, because it's easy to do. I spent years tearing this apart to try to find the answers to chemistry, to physics, philosophy, religion. I lived as a hermit, so I was traveling and tearing things apart to see if I could find the truth. And we found as much of it as we got now, and you guys are going to expose more truth because you're all great spiritual beings. Some of you might not feel that right now, but give yourself due respect, because a lot of you guys are very powerful beings that are awakening up. Talked to an engineer yesterday. He quit his job. He's one of those top engineer type guys. He quit his job and now he wants to heal people, and he feels like he's in where he feels the most comfortable. He's in why he's here. His mission now is going to be realized, and all the knowledge he's gained as an engineer will help him in some way in the movement and in the application of what he knows is truth. And he's working on his own health issues, and this is what makes all of you superb healers. Working on your own health, picking up information, little bits about your immune cells, this and that. No big deal. You don't have to know anything, but know a little here and there. It's a little fun. Make it fun, your health, even though some of you might be in pain and hurting and you might not feel good. Remember the glands. You always go after the endocrine glands. They control everything of the body. And the beautiful thing is we still have herbs. And most of us are probably going to die fighting over those subjects that allow God to express itself more freely, as under the U.S. Constitution that we used to have. Probably go in the archives one day and blow the cobwebs off of that book and say, well, this is what these people used to live by, But the mind got them. The ego got them. Yeah. Individuality of Detox. This is Susie. While watching your video titled Individuality of Detoxification, you spoke of spiritual travel. Are there any herbs you can suggest to help with spiritual travel, astral travel? I've seen some videos speaking of astral travel, and they suggest using ORMUS to help the spiritual astral travel. I mentioned that there are flower essences made by Running Fox Farms. I think she's in Vermont. She's a psychic lady, very beautiful lady, and she makes some good products. She's one of those where, like all of you, who their expression is themselves, the quality of their expression. I've always said, if you're going to do something, and my grandmother always used to tell me, if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And it's an old saying, you always hear it ringing in your ears when you have parents like mine who try to build, a certain amount of ethics and common sense in a person. You hear those things, and I've always lived by that rule. If it's worth doing, do it like you're doing it for God. Look what I made for life here. Isn't that good? Not from an ego standpoint, but if you can, research the Milarepa and his journey. Milarepa and his journey to God consciousness. And an interesting one, parallels my journey a little bit in terms of houses and what he had to do to finally let go of the ego, even for God, and just be the love that it is. And interesting story behind that. But that's what I think these stories help us to achieve the level we want to. Jalaluddin Rumi's story of seeing God in every atom. It just, when you get at these levels, life is nirvanic. It doesn't matter what the body's going through because you're in control. And if the body's in pain, you detach yourself from the body, fix it, and keep yourself steeped in the consciousness of life in oneness, where we all see each other as one, as love. And it makes for a better expression. I know a lot of people think that's probably corny, but to tell you the truth, we have to. The other side is war. And you see that, you know. So I'll say that she makes some flower essences for astral travel and out-of-body travel. And that's where you would probably want to go, is to your flowers. You know, the higher off the earth you eat, the more etheric you will experience life. And that's why fruit eating sometimes is difficult for those that are more physically grounded. And so moving from a very grounded, organic, astral, lower chakra meat eating to a very etheric, crown chakra fruit eating, big difference. Big difference in how it makes you feel, how it relaxes you, how the irritation and inflammation comes out, and everything relaxes down. Acids are irritants. You know, that's that male, aggressive, corrosive, irritating side of chemistry. But then there are acid pHs that are work in your favor. So just remember, life is just variances of pHs, and each level different things happen, whether it's oxidation, ionization, who cares? Because you can't figure it out completely. I've tried, many chemists have tried, there's theories abound, some theories are obviously not true, you know, that sort of thing. So, and I'm talking about this with a physicist the other day. I mean, they have worlds of theories as well, and this is the problem, you know. So what's real, the one thing that is real that you can count on all the time is yourself. Is yourself. Beyond your emotions, beyond your mind, beyond the drama of creation and the drama of your life, the soap opera that you've created for yourself. The real you experiencing that soap opera is what you got to touch. And when you do, you will be so happy. And every cell in your body will develop a smiley face. And that's pretty cool. So I would use the flower essence in response to that question. This is copper, zinc, chase tree, berry, and fat. Well, that's quite a thing there. Brianna. Hi, Dr. Mars. Hi, sweetheart. Please let me think. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I'm hoping. I'm just sick about all those videos that they took down. But understanding, we don't expect something like that. But we understand how out of balance things are and how control things are. And right now, you're seeing the American government with extreme control people didn't know existed before. And that's the beauty of exposing of truth right now around the world. And you see it everywhere. It's not just in the States here. My question is, I am 16. Now, this girl's 16 years old, and I received a letter. I don't know if it's from you, sweetheart, but I received a letter from a 16-year-old, and I'm going to call her because it was just a cute letter. And I thought, here's a 16-year-old girl suffering and fighting for her health. My heart went out to her like nobody's business. 16 years old, fighting for their health. And you see it now in all the young people from the babies up. And we're going to be here to help them, I'll tell you that. There is going to be help for everyone. This is going to be. And so whatever has to happen to achieve that, this poor thing. And here's another 16-year-old girl, if it's not the same one. In the past year, I have taken many supplements to try and fit my nutrient needs. And this is the thing, nutrient needs. You know, take a look at the animals. and the consumption of those animals that are closely related to the human, which is obviously the primates, and look at the volume of consumption. I think you can obviously see that a herbivore who eats vegetables has to eat a lot more vegetables than the fruit eaters. Why is that? Can someone tell me that? So you'd be surprised. If you want nutrients, you want fruits, berries, and melons, organic as possible, or hydroponics or oceanponics, something like that. But get up in there if you can. If not, you still get nutrients. Remember, roots seek out nutrients for the plant. They're conscious. They're looking for nutrients. It's just well established, of course, that the alfalfa is probably the most sought after plant for that issue. So alfalfa always is a power hog of nutrients for anybody. So when you're looking at superfoods, kelp and alfalfa, to me, fit up there on the top pretty good. Far above wheatgrass juice, in my opinion, and barley. We didn't give wheat to horses to build muscle, notice? And when we did, now this is wheatgrass, but the wheat, you can founder on the wheat and get into high acidosis and have serious problems. So again, going back to the alfalfa, super muscle, super power. Our horses always ran good, always had extremely healthy horses. But people the same way. But keep in mind that you need flavonoids, high flavonoids as humans, and they're found in fruits, berries, and melons quite plentifully. The astringent factors that we talked about before are very important as well in moving your lymphatic system. So a lot of these factors come in foods, and naturally your body is going to be cleaned by the very food you eat. Not only is your food should be nutrients, it should feed you too. But the point I was making is that we have this misguided idea that more nutrition the better, and that isn't true. Your body can only digest so much, absorb so much if you're absorbing, and then utilize so much. Remember those three things: digestion, absorption, and utilization. Those three things don't happen or are somewhat compromised, then you're not getting the nutrients, you're not getting the power you need to what the body needs to run itself. But it isn't like it's overwhelming. You just don't see that in nature. And when some of you guys are way out there and you're thinking, and these, of course, I love that. And so we can get into more magnetics as opposed to chemistry. I mean, there are discussions we can have that probably wouldn't be fit for this channel in that it's too etheric for people. They would probably think we were out to lunch. I remember I wrote an article years ago for Eckankar newsletter, and they said, hey, this is way too advanced. We can't handle that. And it was like, what? I mean, so back then it was difficult. So that's enough to say that just don't worry about it. Eat fruits, berries, and melons, and have some green drinks, and you got all the nutrients you could possibly use. The point is, you've got to detox. And this is where you're going to find this over and over and over again, because no matter what condition you're suffering with, it either deals with acidosis, rarely alkalosis, and heavy metal toxicity, neurotoxicity, all these things. So you, on one hand, you either have genetic weaknesses of the cells and compromising hormones, steroid, neurotransmitter for the nervous system. You'll have a less production of those. So let's say if you have lower cortisols, your blood sugar will tend to be low. Lower neurotransmitters makes it hard to breathe, and hard arrhythmias, and low energy, chronic fatigue, and those sort of things. All levels of that, to MS, to just chronic fatigue. And then you just keep on going down that line. And remember our discussion of obstructions. So it becomes quite evident when you look at this simplistically what the problem is that man's been doing. When you're eating a highly acidic diet and you're supposed to be more on a base balance or an alkaline balance, you can imagine that in time what's going to happen and what happens to the blood when constantly being insulted with proteins. Amyloidosis, we were talking about that here. Inflammation, proteins. No matter what you're diagnosed with, you just realize that detoxification is the key, because it is a process of cleaning and rebuilding. a process of restoring the vitality to the cell, a process of cleaning the fluids, a process of getting the kidneys to start filtering again, as you see in this beautiful collage by Germaine. I just love that. And you guys, I love you. You guys are so good. And the more I talk to you guys around the world, I'm just so proud of each and every one of them. We got a world to heal here. And all of you that are working on your health, think about helping others if you can. I know sometimes you feel a little sick, but sometimes if you can help others, it really feels good to give and to help. We need to start this chain of understanding in our societies here, no matter what country you're in, and try to turn the heads from greed and anger and control and all this into more love, more hugs. Maybe not like the mayor in California likes to tongue people, but wow, every day there's something out there. Every day. I love it. Creation. Now, I ate no fruit for at least 6 months in fear of the sugar, and ate a lot of organic meat. Ooh. I also ended up with too much iron, and vitamin, a form, something from the supplements. I have been detoxing, and it seems to have been fixed. About a month ago, I started eating fully raw organic fruits and veggies only. I broke out quite badly. Now remember, that tells you right there, sweetheart, your lymph system, at 16, your lymph system is a mess. But you're on the road to cleaning it out and opening that skin. And I also developed what doctor said was impetigo around my mouth. I went away from about a week, however, and I believe it was from, of course it was from detox. When you start detoxing and you start seeing stuff coming out the skin, your body's pushing it out, baby. And that's just what you want. Doesn't matter what it looks like. You just got, it's coming out. Get on the positive side and go, you know what? It's coming out. And as bad as it is, you got to get it out, because you wouldn't have one expression. All you psoriasis and eczemas and all these kind of cases here, guys, hang in there. You would not have any expression on the skin if it didn't reflect what was within. And that's the problem, is the skin shows us what's going on inside. So that's a little bit of a problem. You see all that, and so you immediately know that your kidneys are probably not filtering, sweetheart, at 16 years old. And of course you're going to go after your adrenal glands, because at 16 the kidneys and adrenals in most individuals on this planet, no matter where you're from, are in trouble. And we're seeing a multitude of lymphatic cancers from that in the youth. So this young lady is spot on in helping herself. You just have to understand what happens when you start detoxing, that when acids come out, and you will see what the nature of acids. It breaks down the skin, cracks the skin, dehydrates the fluid, conglomerates the fluid, all of these things. And so we get a good view of acids, don't we? I keep track of my nutrients through chronometer to make sure I am getting enough. Honey, man, that's too much mind power. I wouldn't even think of that at all. I wouldn't even go there, because you got to also realize that if your skin's this bad, let's go a little deeper here. No matter what you're putting in, what's getting absorbed? That's more important. You can sustain yourself on very little nutrition as long as you can digest, absorb, and utilize. Well, what's this fourth one over here? What's this fourth thing that we must do to be well? Eliminate. You must eliminate the chemical reactions, interactions of all this stuff you're talking about. When you bring in nutrients in the body, you're bringing them in more complex structures, even though we go for the simple complex structures where chemistry is all, shall we say, hooked together as a family and synergistically bound in their proper ratios they need to be with each other. Man can't figure that out, not even close. We're not even close to understanding our own nature, let alone the complexity of chemistry at that level. And I think it's quite ego that we would even think we could. And in that effort to understand that, we can do a lot of harm. So it's, and whether that is a matter in creation or not, I mean, creation is here one day and gone tomorrow almost. What's now is now. You know, they say time is nothing but a successions of nows. All right, let me see here. I am getting tons of copper and not even 50% of my zinc. You know what? You can't worry about that, sweetheart. Utilization. Utilization. When you go to utilization, what gland are we going to most of the time? Not the thyroid. Parathyroid for calcium. What else? Oh, adrenal glands. Yeah, how many steroids does the adrenal gland... Here's a question for you. How many mineral corticosteroids does your adrenal glands produce to utilize zinc, selenium, magnesium, all iron, all these things? You know, let me know what you find out, would you? So you're worried about the wrong thing, sweetheart. You're caught up into intellectualism. The problem with that is it has no remedy to it. Because you're off point here, sweetheart. You got to get back to forget about this. Find your best fruits and veggies that you can and eat them. Do your detox, especially if your skin broke out. You've got lymphatic problems here. So you want to fix the kidneys, get the adrenals up. That way your utilization of nutrients are up. Clean that lymph system in the bowels because absorption is very key here. Get a picture of your eyes and take a look at that. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut off early here and... Drew and I are going to go over some eyes here because we're lagging behind with that, and I want to catch up with that. But, because I don't know whether they took the videos off that showed the eye pictures. So, I don't know. So, you got to drop the nutrient searching. You will literally pull your hair out, sweetheart. You'll never find the answers. Been down this road. Took people down this road. Dead end road, sweetheart. Dead end road. Okay. You're looking for zinc to help the skin. You'll be doing that the rest of your life, and at the same time, all these acids will be chewing on you, sweetheart. No. Get another way of thinking. Get into that detoxification scenario, because what happens to those people that get into raw foods first, they go to the supplement side later because they haven't had the experience. David Wolf is a classic example. Ann Wigmore's clinic is a classic example of going into supplementations without proper understanding. And so that's but can't blame them. That's what's on this planet, and it all stems out of this lower treatment-based consciousness that says you see a symptom, you treat a symptom. And that's just not where it's at. Doesn't breed any health. Most of you come in with bags full of supplements and your problems are still there. So you got to realize what really causes things and how you have to turn this around. I would suggest you drop zinc and selenium thinking and you work on your adrenal glands, the glands that utilize that out of your foods. I would also seek the best foods I could, and that's all you can do. And relax, sweetheart, and let your body just do its thing. You got to detox yourself here from what I see. Now, am I also getting, let me see, she's worried about supplementation. I'm also not getting enough selenium. My other question is, I have been taking Chase Tree for hormones the past 10 months. You know, that's probably long enough to be on Chase Tree. Chase Tree is a pituitary popper, and I think that you want to be careful about inciting the pituitary too much. It's a little bitty fella, and too much could be, so you just have to see. You want to look at your height. If you're short and you look in your eyes and you know you have pituitary, well then work on that until you start growing. At 16 you should still be growing and you should catch up if indeed the pituitary is at issue. I would make sure that one is at issue. It's better to hit the thyroid, parathyroid, adrenals, things like that. I stopped all my other supplements when I went raw. Good, and neem for the liver. I truly want off all supplements and have my diet fully my body's needs that is possible. Then drop it now and start juicing, say, some greens. Get alfalfa, your kelp. These are the superfoods, or get our superfood blend. Our superfood blend has all that in it. You can't get more nutrition than the superfood blend. There isn't any nutrition out there hardly any more than that. Matter of fact, the superfood blends we have more nutrition than most animals get probably in a year. So, again, you got to stop and realize that this nutritional title is one you want to drop. You remember the people having trouble in different states calling themselves nutritionists. No, 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 no. That's another level. When they go invade health, which the medical doctors are a little bit, then we'll have some class actions and we'll deal with that. But, health is our word, and no one can prove it like we can. No one can prove it like we can, and you guys are. It's amazing. So this is the thing. Drop nutrition. Drop it. Seek the best foods, the superfoods you can, and quit worrying about it. You're losing too much energy and you're worrying. And then just go forth. Detox yourself. Enhance your glands. Look at your weaknesses in cells. Fix those. And you'll be in good shape, sweetheart. And at 16, you'll grow up and be quite a lady. I also drink a lot of dandelion tea, and I take burdock. Well, right there's dandelion alone has more nutrition than almost anything else. I mean, dandelion alone is extreme. So you're getting more nutrition. It's about digestion. It's about absorption. And it's about utilization. And then, of course, obviously, it's about eliminating the byproducts of all those processes. And you got it. But you got to fix all those processes, and that's the problem. If you think you're running low on zinc or selenium, and it's a malabsorption, you'll never fix it. And if it's adrenal weakness, which it always is, if it's malabsorption, there's always adrenal weakness. Why? Because the adrenals and the kidneys control the lymph, which is what causes malabsorption. So if you're having trouble, you've got to fix all these things, and then you can sit back and worry about nutrition if you want. Also, if I am eating little to no overt fats in my diet, nuts and seeds, will this mess up my hormones? Not at all, Brianna. Not at all, sweetheart. Everything has fatty acids in it. The question, and I just had this debate with a client of mine, where can you determine at what level you need fatty acids, and who's going to tell you that? Who's going to tell you what you need in your body for your level of consciousness, your level of genetics? All right? You've got to go back to God again. You've got to go back to nature again, whatever you wish to call it. You've got to go back to nature and take a look at that, because your body came out of that. All these physical bodies, all these bodies of plants and animals came out of nature here. That's the source. That's what you want to look at. But you got to realize man started walking down many roads that led to nowhere. They had to check them out. But now that we've checked them out, look where man is. His spirituality is low. His mind, in some cases, is academically accelerating. The balance of the two are not there, so the egos are high, the power and control over others are high. So this is about bringing you into a state of balance and wellness, but also into a state of you being and understanding more of who you really are. And so don't get caught up in nutrition and things, because you'll be beating a dead horse. Look at the nutritionists. And some states have laws against practicing nutrition without a license, remember? Well, we don't practice nutrition because that's a waste of time. It's a waste of your brain power. When you get up and you get busy in your practices, you're not going to have time to waste on things that don't matter, things that are insignificant. I've cut off the fat. I've been busy for years, and I cut off the fat on things. Why spin your tires when there's no road it leads to? Wellville is an easy paved road. You guys are walking down it. You're proving it. We've proved it for years here in our clinic and around the world. Relax. Relax and have fun. Don't make it so hard. Don't be so hard on yourselves. Relax and have fun with this. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy each other, because this group is one of the best groups I've ever seen anywhere. I love each and every one of you. And you new people coming on board, enjoy this. We're like a family here, and we're here to help each other and to help you find your wellness. And it's not difficult for most of you. There are some of you that are definitely going to fight hard to get it. I don't know what to say about that. That's your individuality, and I'm glad you found our site, because this will help you. These are the golden keys that man doesn't talk a lot about to help you find your journey to Wellville and way beyond. That's the thing. There's so much to life than this little bitty soap opera planet Earth. There's so much more going on. It's kind of like when you're flipping on, oh, here's the Kardashians. Let's watch that little soap opera. Oh, yeah, and we get pulled into that soap opera. Same thing. You're pulled into the soap opera planet Earth. But you could pull back, and there's so many other stations. So many other levels. Hey, Doc, you're a simple... Oh, thanks, man. Who is this? Pascal. Hey, my friend. Thank you for teaching me. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. Thanks for the comment. Love you too, man. You know what? We're just trying. We're just trying to help everybody grow and God to awaken more of itself, and which is you, and have some fun here. So it's such a hard rock right now. Everything's hard to come. It's because the negative forces. We need to be more powerful in our love and our joy and giving of others, our being a vehicle for God or spirit or prana, the life force, whatever you call it, and whatever religion and teaching you're in, doesn't matter what name you put on it. At a certain point into the God world's, names don't even exist. Katrina, let me see. Love you, sweetheart. Love you too, honey. I'm on a basic liver, kidney, brain, and nerve 2 upper circ, lymphatic 4 caps. Want to ask what you think about helping to unplug pores external with alcohol washes. Ooh, that Dr. Robert Caesar speaks of. You know what? I don't know what to say about that, I don't know. I mean, I see magnesium. I don't know why one would need to have to clean the skin this aggressively like this, to tell you the truth, with these acids and stuff. You got a cross between acids and base here. I don't know. I don't know. I like to scrub the skin, I like to keep it clean, dry brush the skin. Big thing is allow for proper sweating. But I don't know about, using some of this, a little bit of bicarbonate wash, go swim in the ocean, something like that. But I don't care. I just get like this when we look at too many isolates of chemistry, especially because we do have some degree of absorption through the skin. So you got to realize that what goes on the skin gets absorbed in. And of course, vascular capillaries are more than willing to suck them up. So this is how we deliver some meds to you. So just remember what goes on the skin. And I've said this about you ladies, be careful, ladies, about your makeups and stuff, because what you put on your skin, you eat. Remember I said, can you eat the makeup you're using? Can you eat the underarm deodorant that you're using? These are serious questions, because man's not thinking. And if you look at these antiperspirants, to me, my opinion, these are a big source of why a lot of ladies have breast cancers. They inhibit sweating. Well, what's in the underarms that is so vital to the breast and arms? Lymph nodes. You don't use chemicals that suppress lymph node function or lymph movement or drainage. So antiperspirants have been getting bad raps through the years about cancer causing, and you can see why. You don't suppress lymph in any way, shape, or form. Most of your questions deal with lymphatic problems in the first place, So I don't know what to say to that, sweetheart. Always put caution to the wind, when you find something like that. Make sure it's not acidic, that it's got that right pH, that it doesn't burn the skin. No, I see all these facial burns, and look at the extent man goes to try to be well. He kills cells. Notice that allopathy thinks you have to destroy cells to be well. Whether it's face peels or it's acid peels or whatever. It's like, oh my God, do we really, have to go to that level? No. Healthy skin just reflects what's inside. And a healthy inside is a clean terrain, a clean culturing medium, is a clean sewer system. And once these obstructions built by the kidneys, once these kidneys are flowing and obstructions are removed and you're moving lymph and blood, you'll never not even know you have a body. Some of you guys that are way out there, you haven't mentioned this much, but some of you guys, I'm sure, don't feel your body anymore. After a while, you don't even know you have a body. It's like a nice new engine from Detroit. Runs, purrs like a kitten, don't even know. and that's a good body. You should know you have a body you're using, you know, and anytime you're aware of it, that's acidosis, in my opinion. Or something related. This is Chad. Hey, Chad. Thanks for taking the time to read my message. You betcha. I'd love to be able to go through all of you guys, and I'm working my life to where I will. We're going to do a lot more of these videos to help you. We're going to do some interactions. We've got a lot of things planned, but right now there's this, you can feel it in the air. Things are in kind of a little lull. There's a big fight between this movement of negative and positive. A lot of things going on, but truth will be here and exposed, and it is. You guys are doing a great job. All the calls I get from people that you're helping, I tell you, you guys are making a big difference. Don't sell yourself short, because I'm getting feedback that how beautiful all you guys are and how you're helping, and I'm getting your friends call me that you're helping, and they're helping me so much. You guys are just. This planet must understand you're the blessing that this planet has right now. But don't let that go to your egos. You're here to bring truth and love and joy back to a planet that lost it. Let's see. Thank you, sweetheart, for all your or Chad, for all your comments. Talk to more women now to do men. Sorry, Chad. February 2012, I had my first anxiety. 2012, I had my first anxiety attack. Well, anxieties are generally neurological, obviously, and related to the adrenal glands. Now, you could have had a dose of neurotoxicity somewhere, Chad. You know, whether pesticides or something, and threw you, just on that line, threw you into an anxiety attack. Hard to breathe, maybe, shortness of breath, something like that. My life following the consumption, marijuana brownies, which were the first time I ever had those. Well, marijuana is a neurotoxin. I mean, that's some of the problems with some of these. It's a neurotoxin in large dosages. So there's the oil coming, and there's other ways to ingest marijuana that's not neurotoxic. But I still feel that there'll probably be some neurotoxicity to the weed. But I'll say this. You've got to, if you're running weak adrenals, that's going to make your blood pressure go down. It's going to make you feel more fatigued because it's neurotoxic a little bit. Wears off, but still there's those effects that build and build and build with the THC oils and things that build in the body. So I like tinctures. I think that the way to take marijuana in the future is just like any other botanical. It's a botanical like any other, is through the tincture method. And it's safer, it's better, and it's, I would say probably in that way, it'll probably be more of a neurorelaxant. But most herbs that are relaxants at one level can be neurotoxins at another level. I was fine the next morning and following week, however, after a successful basketball game when I was in a stressful basketball game when I was in a very bad mood. I had my second panic attack in the same place as the first. Kitchen at home, post-traumatic stress, flashback. After this occurred, I went on a 3-week slide into hell with, oh man. Well, you know what? You're around neurotoxins somewhere, man. Somewhere around your house or somewhere where you're going, you're getting neurotoxicity into the body. Might not have nothing to do with the marijuana brownies at all. I mean, sounds like you already have some adrenal weaknesses, Chad, and this is a little bit of neurotoxicity is throwing you deeper into that. And remember, you've got to wash even your organic fruits and vegetables. You got to wash them with a veggie wash because I don't trust nothing. Now they're claiming that you can have some pesticides and still claim organic or something. I mean, what the hell is wrong with our governments? I can't believe how man is grabbling in the dirt like that. But you need to detox yourself, and I support myself with brain and nerve, no question. I'd probably do the circulation formula just to move blood around a little more aggressively, but I would definitely start my detox. I'd probably do some greens for a while to see if buffer any heavy excitotoxicity, which is more cancer causing, but I would definitely get into detoxing and get your adrenals up. Use your adrenal glandular or something, probably a 400 if you're this low. Check your blood pressures, see where they are. He's got a terrible anxious feeling here. Symptoms such as sweating, fear for no reason, hyperventilation, numbness, stiffness, lots of lightheadedness. Now, I thought I was going, all right, so this all sounds like autonomic, Chad. And I don't know if you have anything going on in the stomach, but that is really kind of where I'm getting an impression this here when I'm reading this with you. That's residual kickback here in the parasympathetic and the cerebellum, and also with the adrenal sympathetic side. Sounds like, you could have something going on in the stomach. It might not, it just might be hitting that nerve ganglia there where the sympathetic and parasympathetic, the stomach area, the solar plexus. And it could be you got something going on in your stomach area. So you might want to cool that off. Stay away from all proteins. Kind of do some Heal-All tea or something and kind of cool that down. Light it up a little bit, not real heavy Heal-All tea, and kind of let some healing going on. At the same time, pop up those adrenal glands. Brain and nerve is going to strengthen the nervous system as you go along here. But this lightheadedness and all this, what makes me think it's more gut is that all the symptoms that you're having here, and it could be spinal too. Wouldn't hurt to check out your spine as well and have a chiropractor adjust you if you're having or ever had stomach problems. That's more like where it's at, I'm thinking, GI tract. But again, you're probably flipping over and having some adrenal gland weakness with it. And you healers out there, remember that the stomach, is a major part and how sensitive it gets neurologically. But the stomach is the center part that reaches up here and reaches around to the adrenal glands. So a lot of people can have a lot of these anxiety attacks, definitely from adrenals and stuff. But look at the gut tissue as well. We talk a lot about gut or bowel, small and large intestines. And they're as important to clean up as anything else. Filtration of the kidneys, to me, sits on the top of the mountain. Right under that, of course, is gut. And those are the two high cancer and high areas where man is losing tissue at a rapid rate now. And those are the areas, especially the kidneys and adrenals, that actually affect every cell in the body, indirectly or directly, if you will. I ended up on clonazepam for a month and weaned myself off. My anxiety has slowly got better since this, but I've still had several panic attacks since certain situations can make me feel panicky. Now, such as being in a crowded mall or being, that's definitely neurological. And boy, does this sound like neurotoxicity here. The problem, and what I don't know. When you work from a God position, the idea of presidents and governments and stuff are ridiculous. But with that said, this is another reason, and it might have nothing to do with your marijuana brownies at all. Or they could have raised that marijuana with grow fast stuff, like Miracle Grow and stuff like that. I mean, that's why I'm for getting our herbs under our control, where we can control people that raise the plants and how they take care of the plants. But this might have nothing to do with it whatsoever. This could be neurotoxicity from your home, from your food you're eating you didn't realize were heavily saturated with pesticides. You just never know, because the whole world is neurotoxic. Remember I told you I had a chemist in here last year, I think it was now. Time flying so fast, who said there's over 2,000 neurotoxins he thinks out there. 2,000 neurotoxins. And so much chemistry we don't even know what we've created. And that's what chemists don't always tell everybody. With all the chemical interactions and what we're releasing in the atmosphere, you have bonding and rebonding and you have all kinds of things going on here. So who the hell knows? A very toxic planet right now. So I feel for you, but get into that raw, get into detoxing. If fruits are too strong for you with this, Chad, get into some green drinks. Get into the parsley, the dandelion, the beet. Really start cleaning that body out. But also recommend either grape fast, lemon juice fast, something like that. But also get into the adrenals with a glandular or with an herbal formula. Clean the kidneys. Start getting into that body and rebuilding it and cleaning it. You would do no different than if you sit there with a tumor in your brain. You would do no different. Except maybe you enhance the nervous system here a little bit. One thing I wouldn't do with the tumor in the brain is use upper circulation. I wouldn't want to move blood aggressively toward a tumor. Not it's a deal, but that interstitial fluid is what tumors are, and there's a little blood in almost all tumors because it's interstitial fluids. Let me see. These things never ever used to bug me. Well, you know what? Get yourself cleaned around, Chad, and you'll get over this. I can tell you that. I don't think it was just the brownies. I don't. I never remotely felt any anxiety or panic my whole life before I ate those brownies. Now, it could have been, you know, but it would also have to say, Chad, you might just have been on that edge neurologically and with the adrenals, that it just threw you over, and now you see your weaknesses in your face, where before you didn't even think you had that. And that's the thing is, and this is something, we were talking about this a long time ago in some videos where apparently people out there are eating like crap, all the meats and stuff, and they look good, they look beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful ladies out there that are horrible eaters, you know, and all this stuff. De-skin them. De-skin them. And take a look inside. I have some of the most beautiful people in here. You wouldn't think is hurting, laundry list of problems. When you get into the individuals, they have their problems. But a person can go along. Oh, my neighbor, he eats anything he wants. Trash, trash, trash. And look, I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm fighting my health things. And look at that guy. He's eating everything he wants. Keep watching. Keep watching. An ambulance someday will be there to pick up the neighbor because he had a stroke or a heart attack. Oh, Denise from Australia. Yeah. Alias the Den. Ooh, I like that. I have a client that has had bad headaches for a while. I have advised her to go on the diet and use the botanicals. She went to a neurosurgeon and was told that she had a cerebral spinal fluid leak caused from either acupuncture or an epidural. Well, I don't know about things like that. You know, that's always been my big fear about epidurals. You know, I mean, geez, when you start messing with the spine, I'm starting going, what? You know, these guys think of nothing about messing with people's spines and things like this, and I just, that gives me the creeps. You just, there's some certain tissue, you just leave it alone, and this is one of them. So I would think, though, that in a high alkaline diet here, you could repair any damage or puncture to that. You could fix that up. So I don't know if I would agree with this guy, but if you've had tests and it showed that, maybe I would agree with that. But I don't know where I stand with most neurosurgeons, but I tell you, a lot of them are really good. There's some good neurosurgeon that has done so much fantastic work. Not always knowing, of course, about the raw and things like that, of course. So I don't know. I was wondering what your take on this is. Yeah, my take is go in and get healthy. I would use the herbs. If anything will sew and stop that leaking, if it is a fluid leaking, it would be the herbs and strengthening the tissue and things like that, because that's just what you're doing with detoxification. You're strengthening. It isn't just cleansing, you're strengthening. And admittedly, the body's going to clean way before it strengthens what you would like. But there's still a movement toward regeneration in it. We see that with some of you guys. We've seen where your genetic lesions in your eyes are shrinking away. That's pretty cool stuff, guys. And you're seeing it during this process of detox. So you know there is regeneration occurring during this process. So that's the beauty of this. And that's why you have to understand when some says when we say detoxification, we're talking regeneration of the human body. Yeah. So that's where I would go. And is this so-called fluid just blood and lymph that surrounds the brain and nervous system? Now, you have a spinal fluid, but I think if there's a leak, that means that something, I don't know if I can believe that, but if there is, that means that if you did have a puncture or something, or you just have thin tissue, or who knows what, strengthen, clean and strengthen, dear ones. What would be my story on that? I believe she has inflammation from a constipated, well, yeah, absolutely. And that's maybe all she has here. You know, headaches and stuff like that. Remember, headaches can come from many places. Most of the headaches, though, come from the stomach. So she needs to check her GI tract out and her stomach out and get her bowels cleaned up. Stay away from proteins, dairies, of course, all that crap. And really take some herbs like the stomach and bowels or the heel oil teas, aloe vera, fresh, scraped, and really kind of heal up that gut. At the same time, pull the sinus pressure out if there's any. Candle the ears, 2 or 3 candles per ear. Pull this pressure out as much as possible. Get on the back and work on the neurolymphatic points and start getting some drainage down. Get those kidneys of hers filtering so you can move that lymph and take the pressure out of the cerebellum and out of the neck and work on those. And keep working with that and you'll pull her out of those headaches one way or another. So that's where I would go with her. Let me see. This is from Shannon. 2-part question. First, about saunas in general. I thought saunas were good to use to sweat out toxins, but I'm questioning that thinking in light of your comment that heat fosters an acidic situation and cold contributes to an alkaline. Isn't that interesting? Is sweating beneficial or counterproductive to detoxification? Well, you know what? I exactly know where you're coming from, and I'll say this: variances of pHs and some of the acid pHs have beneficial effects. And a case in point would be estrogen. And it's back to that world duality again. Estrogen on one side, dilates, creates a bleeding, creates a cleansing process to the uterus. And then, of course, here comes progesterone to kind of shut that acid down and to heal that inflammation that was spawned by dilation of the capillaries and everything. But have raging acidosis from cell acid and put that little acid on top of a hotter acid, and now you got a little gasoline on a fire. But to blame estrogen just in the sake of cancers, that's to me is ridiculous. You can say it could be a contributing factor, but if you just blame estrogen for causing cancer, I don't think it has the pH. I don't think it has the ability to do that. It might, sitting there just pouring into cells maybe, but I don't know. I think you really see the lymph node, the cell acid, since it's about 3 pH, you're going to see that first always, and then that estrogen burn or testosterone burn might come in on top of it. But as a rule, estrogen doesn't burn. That's more cell acids that burn that you feel. So at each pHs. But the concern of the infrared saunas is that is taken to the level you're talking about and I'm talking about. That kind of burn I don't like, and I disagree with that. That's why I think essential oils, a steam to generate a little heat to get you sweating. A good thyroid, you shouldn't have to have much heat to sweat. If you're real cold, yeah, you're going to have to really heat it up. The thing is, though, get your thyroid up to get your basals, close to that 97, 8, 98 in that area, and you won't need much to sweat. But again, proper sweating, definitely beneficial. Remember, nature uses fevers to initiate sweating. So that's where you see the positive side of the interaction of base and acids. And I think it's and maybe it's my fault for making acid so bad, but it's enough to say they are the corrosive side. But there are pH levels, all levels of pH, and some of them are very beneficial, and some of them are just corrosive as hell. So that kind of fits into that question that you have there, dear. But saunas and stuff like that. But you're absolutely right. Too much heat and it sucks your energy right out of you. So that's the thing, is when you have a lot of inflammation on a joint, you don't put heat on it. You put cold on it. You got to go backward. You got to opposite the chemistry. If you're cold, you use hot. If you're hot, you use cold. It's that balance of duality. But that's what it is in consciousness. That balance, when you get to that middle between positive and negative, that's God. That's you. That is pure awareness. Outside of that is the drama between the two poles. Second, assuming there is benefit to sweating, which there is, my dear, and let me tell you, how many of you sweat and burn when you sweat? how many people burn when they cry or when they have tears. That is scary. And a lot of people do. They burn when they sweat. They burn when they cry. That's how acidic even these type of fluids are. That's scary. And there's some of you ladies that I see that are so acidic that your rings leave an imprint. You're so acidic you break down the metals when you wear them. Scary. And that's about 3 pH. You once suggested that steam saunas are better than far infrared saunas. Could you please talk about that a little more? Is there something adverse about far? Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't know if I can get away with putting some pictures up here for you. This would be a woman's breasts. Probably wouldn't, I don't know how the world accepts an educational channel like this that shows body parts. But I have a lovely picture here of a lady's breast that went to Europe for the infrared treatment or the red ray treatment. And what it did to her breast tissue was astounding. She had large breasts when she started, and then she came back from Europe. It was not much bigger than mine, and hard as this desk, and the whole chest wall was burnt bad, and that wasn't worth it. So I just have to be careful with radiations, and you have to be careful with chemistry. You're steeped in the worlds, but you must understand balance and health in relationship to that. When we isolate, we run the risk. That's all I'm saying. From my website, mysupercleanse.com, yeah. Steam rooms, steam baths, hot showers, and hot tubs should also not be a substitute for far infrared saunas. All of these are bad because the steam comes from tap. Well, I mean, you bring up good points, each and every one of you, and particularly about city water. You know, I have RO water, but city water, you've got the fluorides and you got the chlorines, and both of those are cancer causing. So you're right on, but that's when you're supposed to use good RO water, or actually even a filtered water would be good for these baths and everything. I wouldn't let chlorine and fluoride in my house, but I mean these are bad things, and so absolutely any place that has saunas and everything should have either RO water or have a salt filter or something to pull this out, and then a carbon filter to pull the salt. You know, just keep cleaning it, because, and I agree with you on that, 100%. So you just have to work with what you can. I don't recommend swimming pools for the same reason, and I don't either. But you can get saltwater pools, and I have one. And salt, it's so beautiful. It's of course salt turns into chlorine, you know, but still you've got your saltwater pools, and they are so nice. They're just so much better. This chlorine is scary stuff, man. So you're right on there, dear one, with all your stuff. I really believe that. Thank you for all your work there. Really appreciate it. As this Doug Hines. Hey, man. Doug, appreciate your work, man. But that, you know, I just throw caution to the wind. You know, we're just, man just goes forth and just tries everything, and suddenly this thing is super good, and suddenly Monsanto soybeans are good for you, and then suddenly, well, soy in the health industry just suddenly took off, and of course, we're farmers, so soy wasn't something we ever thought, crap bean, and so we always thought, oh, yuck. Now, I know the Chinese praise it, so forgive me, but I'll say this, it's always been known in the States as a crap bean, and to be honest with you, there's nothing healthy about soy products at all. They're estrogenic. I mean, you can go on. Gosh, I wish I could show you. There's a lady that wrote a book on soy, and I thought she was spot on with the book. Fairly thick book too. So I thought she was spot on with that the ills of soy, the high phytic acids, the enzyme, and blah 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 blah. You can go on and on and on with that. It's enough to say you want living foods. You know, get away with the beans and the grains and that crap type of thinking, and get into the living foods and things that are living. If you want them to germinate, germinate. I don't care. I'm not going to have time to do the eyes, so I'm going to have to just keep answering questions. I apologize. I'm not going to have time to get to your eyes here. Yeah, I'm going to do it one of these days quick. You guys were so nice to take the time to get your pictures. And I apologize, I'm going to get to them. Just hang in there on me. Healing without a gallbladder. I wanted to know if it was still possible to properly detox without a gallbladder. I lost too much weight too quickly going high raw since January, and in March ended up getting it removed through emergency surgery. Well, let me say this. I sure would have liked to known about that and see if we could have saved your gallbladder for you. There are some times where the gallbladder, and when you detox, you're going to make things stand right up there. But sometimes when you detox, you become keenly aware of tissue that's been breaking down on you. And that's what we talk about in detoxification, that you're going to know your weaknesses. And the eyes will show you to give you some idea of what's coming. Are your knees going to hurt? Is your hips going to hurt? Is your gallbladder going to have a problem? You know, what's going on? Because detox doesn't create problems like this. It exposes problems like this. And that's what you got to remember. All you healers out there, don't take this on. Realize that detox doesn't create problems. It heals problems. But what it does is shows you where your problems are, your weakness. Remember, we say that in detoxification, wherever you're weak, that weakness is going to show itself. It's like God says, well, here's your weakness. Take a look at it before we get rid of it. Remember, we talk about the 2 times you experience the same pain, when you create it and when you eliminate it. It's got to go back through. It's almost like there's a pathway to things, and it has to reverse the pathway. It's well known in detox that you reverse. Matter of fact, when I started in just on the fruitarian level, injuries that I'd had in car accidents and other accidents came keenly out. And I knew, because I'd read this somewhere, whether it was aired or some work, where these weaknesses will expose themselves. And sure enough, they did, and sure enough, through all the years, we've all proved that that is. So just in your clients, also pre-warn them that wherever you have a weakness, and what's neat about you guys is that when you get the eye down, you'll be able to tell them. You'll say, now, you're probably going to get a little discomfort in that right knee someday, and when you do, just remember it's detox. And oh, listen, it might hit that left hip too. That's traveling like that. That's good detox. And that's what I explained to them. Good detox is, oh, my shoulder hurts. I can't hardly move my arm. Next couple of days, oh, my left shoulder hurts. Now, this one's good. What's wrong with, oh, this one hurts. Oh, now my knee hurts. That's perfect detox. That's great. That means your client's doing their job. That client of yours is digging into their body and bringing out those weaknesses. And then it travels to another weakness. If you pull some pain up and it just stays there, and we've talked about this, when you pull something up out of a body and there's pain and it sits there for too long, they either got to go deeper or stop it altogether. And I suggest to go a little deeper. But it sounds like you had bad gallbladder, meaning that your lymph system in your gallbladder was breaking it down. But that also means it's also in the wall of your liver. So you want to really clean up your bowels, my friend, and get that taken care of. This is Anthony. So Anthony, you want to clean up your liver and your bowels and get that lymph moving. That also would be suggestive of malabsorption here in your case too. Remember, that lymph flows everywhere. Remember, the GI tract is just a tree. The liver's a branch. The pancreas is a branch. The spleen is a branch. Or turn it around the other way for you guys. I was scared for my life as the doctors were telling me if it bursts, it would be septic to the... That's the problem. You could have had some stones, a little inflammation, and they scared the crap out of you. And they do that. But it is true from their point of view that a lot of gallbladders are sucked out. A lot of appendixes are sucked out because you've had inflammation or acidosis so long that it broke down the cells. And this is possible. But the problem in most cases is it wasn't that way. And so my sister had her gallbladder removed, and it was a tapeworm. 3 tapeworms, actually. And so that's the problem with these guys. Unless you do an ultrasound and you know that, and that's hard to see with an ultrasound that the cells are deteriorating. That's why iridology sits at the top of medical discoveries. that fit in our hands perfectly. Thank you guys, we appreciate that. But that's when you see the condition of the gallbladder. If it's falling apart, it's possible that Anthony's gallbladder was just stoned up, and during the detox, these stones were starting to come out on him. Could have been any of that. And they scared him to death and grabbed his gallbladder. I just hate that. And on the other hand, it's possible that it was really in a state of atrophy. But even in a state of atrophy, you can bring that back. We've seen gangrene come back. So I'm not come back, but get rid of. But I don't know where you were with that, but they will scare you like that. Yeah, the surgeon got paid. It was good. I was scared for my life. I don't blame you, man. They do scare you. Prior to this, I was healing interstitial cystitis. Okay. Now, you know this is the big deal. This is, and if you had interstitial cystitis, you had interstitial gallbladder-titis. Hepatitis. All these things. In other words, you can't have interstitial cystitis without having your lymph system backed up all through you, Anthony. So that's probably what it was. Did they say after it was removed, whether it was, of course they probably wouldn't tell you. They told my sister there's nothing wrong with it. Well, why the hell did you remove it for? That's how you store your bile, Part of let me see, and having mixed success. Well, I tell you what, interstitial cystitis sometimes can be a booger bear because you're on the other side of the kidneys. And it can take you a little while to pull this acids out interstitially, because, like I said, the more acidic these fluids get, the more agglomerated or coagulated the fluids become. So it becomes exceedingly more difficult to move that fluid. And even with the bladder, the wall of the bladder, I would suspect that you have some real issues in there that need to open up and keep opening up. I would sip on a light form of Heal-All tea off and on and make that my drink. So it's filtering through the kidneys and the bladder constantly. Marshmallow, slippery elm, these type of herbs are great. Aloe vera, great for anti-emollient, anti-inflammatories, or antacids, if you will. That sort of thing. Remember, inflammation is a medical terminology. We can't use it. God, you had a rough time, Anthony. After the gallbladder removal now, it seems my IC is mainly gone. Well, interesting. But now I exhibit symptoms of IBS, Crohn's. You're already there. I'm just telling you, Anthony, you gotta go after. Just stop and step back and realize you got kidneys and adrenals, and that's where you got to go. You got to go kidneys, adrenals, do the GI tract, get your lymphatic capsules and your GI tract capsules and everything like that. Work with the GI broom if you can, but at the same time, go after those kidney and adrenals, because you've got a lymphatic problem here. It's obvious, and now you're seeing it. You're seeing it in the wall of your bowels. You saw it in the wall of your bladder. You saw it in the wall of your gallbladder, and now you're seeing it in the wall of your bowels. This is already there, man. It's already there on you. Now you're becoming aware of it. Whatever the trigger was, maybe the surgery and everything super stressed the adrenals, and now you're really seeing it more accentuated. But this is something you already have. I want to continue detoxing as I have, but it's a whole different ballpark dealing with these digestive issues. That's what I mean. So that's why even fruits over vegetables, they're gentle in terms of digestive power needed. They're easy on the body. They're anti-inflammatory. They're astringent to pull the acids out to get rid of the inflammatory response. Those sort of things. I truly believe in this system. Well, you know what? You're a good guy, Anthony, and you keep going because you're right on. This is your body you're dealing with. Get some eyes to me or something here, and we'll go over, make note when you do that it's Anthony and about the gallbladder stuff, so I can remember, and we'll go over your eyes and look at them online here and show everybody what you were up against. So make me a note, Anthony, about that in the eyes, and I'll show everybody, and we'll take a look together what you look like inside. I would love to do the liver stone cleanse as per, yeah. Or Arnold Arab, but I've heard with a weak GI it can actually cause the stones to get stuck. Well, these are soft stones, but you know what? I would stay raw for a few months, hit the liver gallbladder formula that we have, do the lymphatic formulas, get in the kidneys, adrenals, and in 2 or 3 months down the road, then do your liver gallbladder flush. But spend about 2 or 3 months really getting in with the liver herbs and stuff. That'll start cleaning stones out, help the liver support itself, strengthen itself at the same time. You're moving lymph, you're cleaning all the inflammation out of that, because you got to get it out of that damn bladder or you're going to lose that bladder. You got to do that. And then you got to get it out of the bowel walls or you're going to lose the bowel walls. And you see where I'm going here? I do not believe they got all the stones out. Well, they don't. And remember, see, if this was just for stones and they removed the gallbladder, they ought to be punched. You know, I mean, you can flush the gallbladder. Even when you're in trouble, flush the gallbladder. The thing is, what you want to know was a gallbladder in a state of decay or atrophy. And they should have been able to tell you that before they removed that with an ultrasound or I hate to say a scan, but, you know, looking at that, they should have been able to tell you that before they did that, Anthony. So I don't know. Some people, these guys just jump to surgery sometimes. I know several surgeons personally. So I know some of what they think. Hell, I just pissed one last week. See what I mean? Well, you didn't piss a gallstone. You might have pissed a kidney stone. Oh, man, that you didn't piss a gallstone. They're going to come out your butt. Please let me know what I can do to heal the remainder of my IC, but now a predominantly digestive issues. Well, Anthony, like I said, this is running through your whole body here. And your case is good for everybody because this is true with all of us. Remember, the good lesson here, and the lesson we teach you guys is systemic. This is a systemic problem. You know, we don't have multiple problems in most cases. We have one problem in most cases, lymphatic stagnation. And when we have lymphatic stagnation from improper filtration from the kidneys, this is the end result. No. This isn't the end result. This is just one of the little results. You keep on going all the way to all the cancers, all the way to all the inflammatory, the arthritis, the lupuses, the Lymes. They just keep on going, baby. Because how come is it that we can correct all these things by detox? Everything. Because cleaning and restoring the health of cells is all you can do anyway. That's all you can do anyway. That's it. There's nothing else out there. That's how beautiful and simplistic this is. And what this does is should relieve a lot of you from this intellectual jargon. Like this poor 16-year-old, you got to get the nutrition. I'm not getting enough zinc and getting enough selenium. Sweetheart, let that go and you'll find your remedy. Right now you're lost in the needs of nutrition, which has nothing to do generally with the problems. So once you fix these weaknesses and this toxemia or acidosis, all these other things are remedied. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty simple too. So keep that simplicity always going because your mind is always going to want to go but. The but word. You know, I'm in the now. But what about? See, that's mine. Yeah. Oh, I enjoy the beauty of the now. I'm observing all life in its beauty and glory. But what I got. You have to live in creation, but you have to learn a new way of living. Someday we'll get into a discussion about that when you're working more in the now. How do you adjust the way you live? Because memory is a problem. This is Carlos. Hey, Carlos. Kissimmee, Florida. Ooh. I'm currently searching for a career path to take, and I'm seriously considering taking the healing path. Boy, I would. I tell you, for all reasons. The healer is is an incredible being that brings the God force through them from their love of man, whether it's man, woman, child, plant, animal, who cares? Your love of life and God and self exudes out of true healers, and they'll help you no matter what. You know, a healer is a God person who knows that and gives forth that which they can to help those in suffering. So there is no greater path than the healer. There's so many paths to take, it's unbelievable. But the healing path right now, this planet is in extreme need of this. And they're going. The negative forces are going to squeal like pigs as we take this new consciousness forth, because that's what the mind does. It clings and grasps at things. Survival of the mind, just like anything else. I just got out of naval service, and I had a good friend, 40 years Navy. And will get fully paid tuition for time spent in service. I've been following your videos for more than a year now. Thanks, my friend. And I've noticed the importance of having a chemistry perspective on healing. A little bit of chemistry will go a long way, because if you get too much, then you'll get into theories. And then the professor that's teaching the class, you'll get into his theory that he aligns with. And pretty soon, you lose a little common sense. We don't teach up to theories. We teach acceptable theories. But a little biochemistry, and I'll tell you another thing. Take a little botany. Just take a botany course. And that's fun. The shapes of leaves and the stems and all this, and show you about herbs. And take some herbal classes. There's a lot of herbal colleges around the world. Good stuff. Australia's got a good herbal college. Canada's had some incredible herbal colleges. I don't think Emerson's still there. They were super good. But Dominion is well established as an old herbal college. Graduated from there myself. But just really good schools out there. Some not so good, but okay. Get the information is always good, because you're the correlator. You're going to pick this information because you want to correlate it. You want to see how it all fits together, because you're the master puzzle put together. You're putting together the giant puzzle of life. And so when you're here and you're using botanicals and things, you put them together and you learn how to use them. So a little biochemistry, a little botany for the fun of it, a little herbology for the fun of it. Detox is simple. Get into some of our classes and then take something, but keep your life what you know to be true, because no one teaches this level out there. And so and then heal yourself. Those of you guys, which all of you mostly are healing yourselves, you're just going to make the best healers out there, because you've done it. Some of you, like poor Anthony here, went through some hell here because the medical establishment didn't know how to go in and deal with that in a proper way. They assumed, let's just take her out. Doesn't matter. To a surgeon, I don't need it, let's take her out. It's like, no, clean and restore. Like it better. But Anthony, clean and restore the rest of your body up now, and you'll be okay, my friend. You still got a liver going on there, but you want to get that bladder in shape too. And this is all lymphatic. Probably with interstitial cystitis, you might have to be careful, Anthony, with even the type of fruits. I'd probably go more subacid than acid. Just depends the irritation. So note what type of fruits. Do a little mono eating for a week or so and learn what fruits might irritate the bladder and might not. Watermelon, believe it or not, could irritate interstitial cystitis. And the reason is it's just so aggressive. Look at the color of it. Red. It's aggressive, and it is aggressive. And so just some of these foods might feel like they're cooling and soothing, but can be aggressive in their chemistry. So just do caution and watch that. Some of those things could hurt when they, some lady that I had a ton of interstitial cystitis, but I have one lady that even the kidney formulas hurt her. So these are difficult scenarios when you get extreme burning going on. You have to cool it off, because it's either that or lose the tissue. And you don't want to lose bladder tissue like you lost gallbladder tissue, because now you're going to wear a bag. Dig in, Anthony, and make this your focus. Give me your eyes. Carlos, let me see here. Okay, you can biochemistry. Yep. A little bit of stuff, a little dabble, do you? Because learn the simplicity of it. Be more of a God man. Because that, in the final analysis, is what it's all about. And it's your survival on past this worldly existence for now. It's your knowing what's coming, knowing more of who you are while you're playing the role, being that true God healer. That's what it's all about. Because just being a healer and a chemist and everything, getting the God power behind you is what it really is all about, because it wakens you up too. And that's the thing. This is really about you. This is all about each and every one of you. Is that essential? Not essential, no. Biochemistry and stuff like that is not essential. I think it's essential that you know acid and alkaline, you know the nature of those two. You learn about the electrolytes, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. You learn about these, but you know what? You're never going to use it. You'll never use it. I've lost a lot of mine. You don't use it, you lose it. So some of my stuff is stored down here. Some of you guys in class pulls out some of these old cobwebs in there, but I went through the complexity. That's what, and you'll see this. I talked to an engineer again, like I said, and these minds, I've got that kind of mind. I can rip things apart. Intellectualism's no problem for me, but I don't choose that because it keeps me lost. It keeps me full of fear. It keeps me in the I don't know category because the mind always has a plus to it, something else, more. It's almost unlimited itself, although that's not quite true. But it appears it's the mind. The mental worlds that you get into, especially the pure world of mind above the causal plane, is so vast. There's no comprehension of it. We look at this world and we say, look, there's billions of stars out there. There's hundreds of trillions of stars. I saw this show the other day, and it's staggering. And they went back to how many planets per grain of sand on this planet. I mean, it's staggering. And yet this is the smallest realm of God. That's what's intriguing. Finite stuff is finite stuff. You get in, you eat your fruit, you clean your body out, you get the herbs from specific areas, you clean them up, rebuild them. Okay, what's next? You. So thank you, Carlos, and I appreciate your thoughts there. I love you, man. You just get yourself where you want to be. Being a healer is really where it's at, and be a love healer. Give a healer that gives love to all life and gives that God force and the humility and everything to each, because you're a beacon of light. All healers should be beacons of light, of love and joy, and people look to you for that. So remember that, all of you are incredible beings, and it's a pleasure to be in your company. Some of you might not feel it yet, but it's coming. Here is this is from Dot. This is a 63-year-old overweight female. You're my age, 63. Number 1, I have always had a fatty tummy until late 40s. Can this accumulation be eliminated as I'm detoxifying? Quite right, but also this is an adrenal gland issue more than likely, so look at that. Weight is always adrenals. You can check your thyroid, your basal temperatures, honey, but look at your adrenal glands. I'm telling you, this is, and the fat right where it's at, that's all adrenal glands. So I don't know about the butt, but so work on those adrenal glands, get in the kidney, start moving lymph, let your body reshape it, because your body will reshape itself as the steroids and everything come into balance, and your body comes into balance, it'll reshape itself. We've seen that in fractured limbs and everything else. It's amazing how the human body can realign its back and everything else on its own. I ain't got no words. I mean, there is no words for the ultimate. There's just no words. 2, am on lymph 1, bowels 5. Bowels 5, holy crap. You need that high level? Bowels 5 is my highest bowel formula that I make. It's still got as much power to heal as I can get in there and still move you at that need. Outside of bowel number 5, you're into laxatives, and I'm real close with number 5. I've proved over and over it's not addicting, so people can get off it pretty easy. They'll go from 5 to 4 to 3 and so forth. And that's the ultimate goal there, dear one, is to come down off the 5s, get to the number 4s, go from the 4s to the number 3s, or 5s to number 3s. You want to come down to number 1, and you want to be 2 TID, 3 times a day on all of them. Now, if you're on number 5, you've got one of 2 things, or both of 2 things going on. 1, weak adrenals, right? That ties back into the weight thing, but you're low neurologically. So that would mean blood pressure, either low or high. And with the overweight, you might be high. Trim that kidney and get the adrenals out. I think you're going to see low blood pressure. So peristalsis is somewhat compromised. You also probably, because of this, have a lot of lymphatic issues going on, and probably interstitial, meaning in the wall of the gut. So we refer that to interstitial lymphatic constipation. And you probably have that in the wall of your small and large bowels. And that also, in time, makes the bowel wall harder and therefore less pliable, less ability for peristalsis. And if you have low neural responses from the autonomic, then you would have more constipation. Then, of course, foods. I've seen salads constipate people. Salads. When a day in the fruit or a berry or melon constipates you, you're in trouble. So you want to get this bowel restored, get brain and nerve, number 2, get the adrenals up, really get in there and build your nervous system up too. Get that peristalsis, because you want to have a bowel movement or 2 a day. 2 bowel movements a day, I think, are essential. Number 3, been on Synthroid. Look at that. For 40 years. Holy crap. But even on meds, my TSH tanked at 47. Okay. So, here's a lady on Synthroid for the thyroid. That's synthetic T3. Now, listen. Her TSH is in tanking, even though she's on Synthroid, and he's looking at her T4s and T3s. What sometimes medical doctors don't understand is that when you're doing this and your pituitary is in the tank, I just told you what the answer was, of course, but when your thyroid's in the tank, it's your pituitary gland. That's TSH's pituitary. I would do this. I would definitely get into a pituitary glandular 1 bottle. And I'd probably do 1 capsule twice a day. And at the same time, I would watch that Synthroid, because if I felt like I'm starting to get a little of this, you would be advisable to titrate off the Synthroid, because it sounds to me like your thyroid problem is probably not a thyroid problem as much as it is a pituitary problem. And that's what I've seen before, is that medical doctors will keep people on Synthroid or levothyroxine or something like that for years and minimal results when it's a pituitary. So you want to take a look at that. See how tall you are, see how your periods were when you were having them, and see if you had irregularity, anything that links you to the pituitary. Get a picture of your eyes, look at your transverse bowel, because now you have constipation. You're taking number 5. So that would lead me into some possibility of transverse bowel issues, which lead me into an indefinite pituitary, which would explain why your TSHs are 45. Hopefully that's 0.45 you're talking about. 47. With it, I'm also dealing with depression. See, this is what I'm thinking. Get on that pituitary gland, and I would also I would do this. I would probably take that pituitary, like I was suggested, and then I would take parathyroid with it, with kelp. So I would take parathyroid. I'd probably do 1-3 times a day for a couple of bottles of that one, and I would take kelp with it maybe 2-3 times a day if it was me. Now, by doing that, you're going to have the pituitary kicking on the thyroid, kicking on the parathyroid. You're also kicking on the parathyroid when you're giving yourself iodine and calcium with it, high levels of that in an organic sense. So that's a butt kicker. Watch that and see how that works. But I can tell you that you probably are suffering from a pituitary as opposed to an actual thyroid. You could actually have a thyroid weakness with that, but you also could have no thyroid weakness at all and have a pituitary. However, I will make this comment. Being on Synthroid for 40 years, you definitely have a weak thyroid. Because no thyroid like Synthroid or Armour or levothyroxine, because when you give it, they just flatly get weaker. So 40 years on that? Now, if it was me, I would want to get off of that crap. And so if it was me, I'd talk to my medical doctor, or I would, if it was me, take full responsibility for my own actions as I'm constitutionally granted, probably throughout the world somewhat. I know some countries still think they own the adults, but still, I would probably get a thyroid glandular and at the same time use that and then titrate, meaning coming off slowly of my Synthroid if I was going to do it. But then you might want to ask your medical doctor to help you, although good luck. I mean, that's the problem. A good medical doctor would say, absolutely, if you can get off of this, let me help you. I want to learn how you can increase the function of the thyroid without having to take a synthetic hormone. A good medical doctor would ask that, wouldn't they? Okay. We have some good medical doctors that are on our team that are working these programs well. And I love those guys. We all are healers. And the true goal of a healer is you guys. Is to give the love and the knowledge and the awareness to make you well. Not to disempower you and fill you full of fear. Oh, your gallbladder is going to explode. We should take it out. So, Dot, take off, my friend. Take off. And number 4, I've always had brown eyes, and so I thought since birth. There is a ring now developing around each. Could this be some other symptom? Well, what's the ring? You'll have to let me know what the ring is. Is it a white ring on the outside? That wouldn't be a good ring. That's a cholesterol ring. Or are you moving limp enough where there's blue underneath? That would be a blue eye. So, again, keep watching the eyes. Send a picture if you want. We'll see what. Take a look at it when we can. You guys are so good. I love to spend time with you. I'm going to have to cut this off. I'm getting a little too. Ooh, brain tumor. Ooh, what's this? Lonela. Hello, Dr. Morse. Oh, this. First of all, thank you for all your work. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here, and it's a pleasure to work with fellow spiritual beings. I love it. I think that we all need each other to give that gigantic love hug to the planet. My sister Anda, 23 years old, has been diagnosed with pituitary adenoma. She's got a pituitary tumor. Common stuff nowadays, you know. And she's 23 years old. The doctor thinks she might have other tumors in breasts and ovaries and uterus. Well, of course, right now, here's a 23-year-old. We know, of course, that any 23-year-old on this planet has kidney and adrenals, hands down, and if you're wrong, so what? Wouldn't hurt to fix them anyway, but you wouldn't be far from wrong. Blanket opinions probably are not wise, but it's enough to say that in our research and in our clinic and what you guys are seeing and the feedbacks and everything, I don't see too many people that do not have kidney and adrenal problems, hence major lymphatic problems. And look at this 23-year-old. She's all tumored up probably. Well, here's the thing. Don't wait. Start yesterday and get honking on detox. Get on. This is where you want to do some fruit fasts. This is where you want to do a 40-day grape fast, a 20-day lemon juice fast. You're going to have to, this lady, Anda, A-N-D-A, you're going to have to really get yourself disciplined, sweetheart. Grab a hold of this and start fasting and start getting these out of there. Get your adrenals up, get your kidneys up, because this is what you're going to need to get those kidneys. Check the urine. Check the urine. Make sure you're filtering, okay? Check that urine. Make sure you got crap in that urine, sediment in that urine, because you want to get these tumors out of there, sweetheart, because they're not going to be able to get all these tumors out of you, if indeed you've got them. And it's just that you could, because this is a systemic problem that you have. You can get rid of them, and at 23 years old, you're young, you should be able to do this, but you're going to have to get real strict on your programs here, really. Please recommend something for her. She has elevated prolactin and testosterone, and it seems that the allopathic treatment is not working. It never does. People have to wake up to this. It never does. Just because a symptom in the earlier years, I was talking to one of my clients and explaining the acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Remember these 4 stages? Acute is the first stage. So remember I was telling you I went into the mall one time. I was craving a malt. So I went into the mall, got me a little baby malt. And by the time I got out to my truck walking through the mall, I had a sore throat from it. I knew it would. Milk, mucus forming. As soon as you do it, you're clogged. And I said, it wasn't worth it, but boy, I'd been craving it for weeks. So I went home, had an apple, pulled that mucus out, and I was good. Now, had I not understood, I thought I caught something in the mall. If I had not understood that dairy products are mucus forming and it clogged my voice box and throat and made me have a sore throat, I wouldn't have known about it and went and had treatment for catching something. I don't know what you could catch that could cause a sore throat. Bacteria doesn't act that way. They're after sewage. So I don't know, I'll say this is that you've got to understand that the lymph system is your focus. And that when you have tumors like this, you've really got to get in there and work hard. You've got to be strict, and you've got to get your kidney and adrenals and get yourself filtering. And I don't know why I was telling you that story. I was going to link it to something. Oh, well. And if she's taking any type of chemo or something for this, God bless her, but you got to help her. I was diagnosed with, I've never heard of this one, DEVICS, Devic's disease, of course autoimmune. They're all autoimmune. Demyelinating, oh yeah, delaminating disease, yeah. There's no such thing. It's all acidosis, guys. It's all acidosis. Is there a destruction to tissue? It's acidosis. Cells just don't fall apart because it's their thing to do today. They fall apart because the influence of the fluid on them. And then you're dealing in or intracellular acidosis. Intracellular, meaning inside of the cell, definitely is the mutative issue here. But outside the cell, inflammation, autoimmune, no such thing. You're acidic, and you're losing tissue because of that. And I might say that losing the myelin sheaths also occurs with low neurotransmitters. You will see the nerve rings on the eyes of the family genes coming down when the adrenals are weak. And you see the loose or loss of the myelin sheaths. So you got two things that can cause that. One, low neurotransmitters. Two, acidosis. 3 years ago, I was 23 years old, and I was treated with continuous high doses of IV corticosteroids. Well, she lists a whole bunch here, and this is the problem. And chemotherapy. Oh. Well, here's the thing. Here, all the steroids there then shut her adrenals down. Then you got a worsening of the lymph system, and then they're going to treat acidosis with Drano. Interesting. Oh my God, this poor girl. I lost the vision in one eye and never recovered, and developed extensive demyelinating on the spinal cord. Oh my friggin' God. 1.5 years ago, I decided to stop treatments. You think it took you that long, honey? I should conk you on the head, sweetheart. You should have woke up quicker. But you know what? You're awake now. Get yourself back into a state of wellness, honey. Get yourself on this detox. Get these acids out that were causing this in the first place. Go back and fix the problem. And you're learning how to do that, honey. And so do that, okay? Because this is sad. Let's see if we can get your eyesight back. If you're having trouble in one eye, let's see if we can't get that back, all right? Now, you got to get the acids out, but you can regenerate tissue. Remember that? So there's a formula in here with raw eye tissue and other factors. Visioplex, you might try that. I would definitely start cleaning and getting sinus drainage. I would definitely start rebuilding the body. But you want to clean as well as rebuild. Most foods clean and rebuild simultaneously, as we talked about a little earlier. So you're going to have to take your body down to Wellville and really work on it, and then everything will rebuild, including the myelin sheaths. Seen it. But you got to get way up there on the rebuilding of neurons and the nervous system and the spinal column. 1 year ago, I decided to stop treatments and switch to vegan. High raw on summer. I've been stable ever since. Yeah. We started a 100% raw food diet a few days ago. Yeah. But we want to take whatever tinctures might help with the detox. Thank you very, very much. No, thank you, ladies. And get yourselves well, because this poor soul was hurt quite a bit. So listen, you guys get your bodies back. We'll be glad to help you do that. You got beautiful Facebook people that are helping people out there. Our Facebook sites are like no other. You guys are dream teams. Dream teams. Keep working it out. Work together. There's always differences. There's always ups and downs. But you guys have done good jobs. Dave, you've done a good job. You always have done good jobs. There are tough cases out there you're going to come against, and even yourself might be a tough case. Don't take no for an answer, and get your health back, because there's nothing more beautiful than a healthy spiritual being being a healer. And I see each and every one of you doing that at one level or another, right? Because the world needs to understand what you know. And you need to apply what you know to get yourselves well, and you're doing that. And I'm very proud of each and every one of you. So this is a big group hug, And till next time, I love you. And so does I'll tell them, all the spiritual beings that's helping each and every one of you, okay? Okay. All right.